it can be so uncomfortable walking around holding the little hand of a little white boy and being a person of color. It can be so uncomfortable and scary sometimes. Let me explain. My son is white. I am black. When I'm walking around outside playing with him, or at the park with him, or just walking down the street and I'm holding his little hands, it could be even just walking into daycare. Because of the world that I live in and we all live in, I have been trained to see my color. And I'm not oblivious to the fact that I probably get looks sometimes like, who's this black guy with this little white boy? And I do identify as black. Technically I'm Syrian and Haitian, but I just say black or a person of color because I don't really care. But what I wanted to share is what it often makes me think about what it was like growing up gay. Because when you're gay and you grow up in the time that I grew up, I don't know how it is right now for kids, but you definitely walk around this world, operate in the world, constantly wondering, am I doing something? Am I talking with my hands too much? Or am I walking a certain way? Do I sound a certain way that makes me look or sound gay? Do people think, oh, he's gay? And they probably did with me. In fact, I know they did. But that's a really heavy thing for a child or a teenager to carry all the time with them. Now, as an adult, I'm finding myself experiencing those feelings again because now whether it's true or not, I worry, do people think something ill about me and my son, Joshua? To the point where I knew that I'm not oblivious. I'm not stupid. Let me get this out here. I know that one day something crazy like that. So I got a ID here, a California ID for my son that shows his last name, him. It's a legal California ID. He's 2.5. So that if I ever get pulled over or I get stopped or he gets lost somewhere and, security brings him to me or whatever, that the question of, wait, this is your dad? Wait, what? Like, it's always legally there. I carry his ID with me everywhere. But that feeling of like, am I being looked at? Are people questioning why he's with me, who he is? Does it look weird? One time, and I shared this on my YouTube years ago. This was with my first placement. I call him Baby S. My first placement ever. I was sharing with my cousin today. I went into TJ Maxx to purchase some stuff. And as I was shopping and I get to the cash register, the woman at the register, she says to me, "Oh, he's so beautiful. He's so beautiful." I said, "Oh, thank you. That's really sweet." And she then says to me, "Where's the mom?" And I was like, "Oh, well, oh no." I literally was just like, "No." And she's like, "Where's the mom?" And I said, "She's not, there's no mom." And she then says to me, "Why?" And I just got so frustrated and like, it was just weird. And it's just like, it triggers all of those feelings of like dis-ease and who's this single guy with a kid? Who's this single guy with a white kid? And then I just left the store. So this experience of fostering and fostering to adopt it's vast. There's all kinds of people with all kinds of different experiences, all kinds of children with all different kinds of experiences and stories. My son, like, if you've seen my YouTube, he and I were meant to be father and son. There's not a doubt in my mind. He is a loving, wonderful, perfect human soul. From day one, we met when he was 5 days old, and I wouldn't change it for the world. One thing that makes me sad in the moments when we're out playing or whatever it may be is that when I get into the place of, is someone staring at me, is someone looking at me, because of my color and him, it takes me out of the moment. And while Joshua doesn't know, he's just a little 2.5-year-old running around playing. I know that I'm mentally and emotionally removed from that moment, and that makes me sad because I just always want to be present with him. But I felt like it's important to share this because I know there are people out there, because they message me and they share with me about similar things like this. I get emails about this. People on my social media on Instagram DM me. People in comments on YouTube. They tell me, like, thank you for what you're doing because I'm just like you. And the reason I started all of this was to be vulnerable and authentic and talk about these things, because people don't share these things. Like, I don't know why I'm a risky person, but I will share these vulnerable things about myself. I think it's because I connect with people through that. So if anything, I guess all of this to say, I know most people aren't out there with ill feelings toward a situation like this. But if you ever have an opportunity, and don't make it awkward, but if you ever have an opportunity to show someone in a situation like mine, maybe it's a 2 different race family or, something like that, show them some love, find a way to show them some love. And the one way you can do that is to acknowledge that. Like, it could be like, you guys are a really beautiful family. Like, that's really loving. That's a really wonderful thing to say to somebody. You don't have to, but if you're ever, you have a kid and you're at the park and you see a family maybe that looks like mine, it can go a long way to say something like that. Naturally, maybe you were having conversation already or something like that. But I wanted to share that because we're not all always the strongest in every moment. All right. Peace.